One, two, three, four. Maggie Thatcher. Was it? Right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. Just checking my stream. Welcome everybody. This is MV broadcasting from a very grey, rainy Cardiff via West Virginia, Charleston. It's the 18th of August 2023, and I am doing a stream based on my 1982 replay, but also to give some feedback from the awesome draft last night. We had on Beatles Interleague's wonderful channel. We had the draft for Shanks 3. So this is the fourth league I've been involved in on Beatles channel. I was on the Ned McGreevy League, Shanks 1, which is kind of like a trial run. Shanks 2, which we completed all the way through. We completed all of them. Shanks 1 was just a bit more of a experimental thing. And we've evolved and evolved and evolved. And also, some commentary around the drafting, who was there. It's a bit of an event, but I'm 5 hours ahead. So I was hanging on at the end, because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. But I hung in because I don't work on Friday mornings, most of the time anyway. More work on my well-being and fitness and all that kind of malarkey. But every now and again, I will do a little bit of work. So, because I woke up with baseball on my mind, a little bit rough actually. One thing I always know is that Action PC and Out of the Park and always gets me going when I start talking about baseball stuff and the adrenaline running. So first of all, thank you to Beatles for hosting such a wonderful event. Who was not there is the question, because at one point it was like 20 people in the chat and some really lovely surprises. People like, not to name call, but Mike Silver was there, someone I've seen on the Out of the Park forums for years. I never interacted, but I definitely had his files. For many, many years, RGL, I always knew RGL was RGL on the Out of the Park, but he did not know I was Dr. K. We're both Mets fans. I always knew he was a Mets fan because I used to follow. I'm sure we've had interactions in Out of the Park, but I used to follow him quite a lot. So to see that the RGL was doing inside pitch baseball with such vigor has always intrigued me, because the man has so much passion for our Mets, because I do love the Mets too. I've been a Mets fan since 1983. No, 81. Magic is back season. That's when I went to New York as a kid and saw Shea from the outside. Because I was right there at the beginning of Strawberry and Gooden and Hernandez and all those guys. So they've always stuck with me. That's my team. And But who wasn't there? Yeah, Mike Silver was there. Let's see now. Todd was there. Midlife popped in. Beatles Steve, of course, Big Clue, always causing mischief. World's Worst Gamer was there. Bernard was there. Dwayne was there. Oh my God, who wasn't there? That's the question. Let's see. Clinton Parks popped in. I don't know Clinton too well, but I know he's older than most of us. Clinton Parks was there. Bernard, like I said, over here. It's in the background here, actually. John DFW was there. Ken Castro, of course, Ken was there. Aaron Reed was there. I said Steve. And Dwayne, I said. This is on Beatles channel. And just so many people were there yesterday. It was fun just to, engage. And of course, I get my arrows thrown at me here in the virtual West Virginia. But I said Carlos was there. Quite a lot of people were in that room yesterday. If I've missed anyone, you were shouted out by Beatles, I'm sure. Legends was there, with his football in the background, which I thought was very funny. So John DFW was there. It was just great. It's a lot of fun. And to think where Clee was there at some point, to see where it's come. Robbie was at work. Some of us went quiet at different times. I'm just looking back. But to see this grow from where Beatles first started with the Ned McGreevy, and talked about evolving it with the likes of Clue, Todd. Obviously, Todd came up with the original idea. And then see it refined by all of us over the time. Obviously, Clue is the chief executive of the administration side of it. And Steve Tate is the creator, and Beatles is the facilitator. So, awesome stuff. Just absolutely awesome stuff. So, with that said, we had the random draft years, as we all know in the community, where we were given two teams, which were randomly chosen. I chose or got the opportunity to draft the Giants and the Dodgers, thinking I was home and dry then. But of course, with such a wide history and 30 picks and random years given, you may miss out, and I did, big time. I missed out on Sandy Koufax because he's a Dodger. I missed out on Willie Mays. I had the opportunity to take Mays twice, maybe even three times. 1960, not his best year in the 60s, in fact his worst year in the 60s. 1969, by then he wasn't the Willie Mays that he was. Nothing came up in the 50s that I can remember at all. 69 came up, but Koufax is out of the league. So, the only one that comes to my mind that I can recall as being somebody that I wish I had the chance to choose would have been Willie Davis. Willie Davis came up in 72. I think I always had a chance to draft Willie McCovey, but pitching's going to win this league, I think. So I went and strengthened my pitching even further because we got injuries on, and I chose Juan Marichal 69, which is actually a really good Juan Marichal, not the one I had in Shanks 2, who I traded for Koufax, ironically. But so many stars and Hall of Famers and non-Hall of Famers didn't make it. But Harry Shanks himself actually did make it. So it was amazing. What a great idea to see it flower. Now I've stepped back, as I was listening, and I'm looking at the time thinking, well, oh God, can I put myself through broadcasting, live again, like last year? I did do some of them early in the day as well, to be honest, but it's a lot of time. And with my job as well, I don't think I could do it again and do justice to the league. But at the same time, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still around. And maybe Beatles will give me a spot one here and there. I think he was just about to say it before he moved on to another topic. But, I'm part of this league. I've always been part of it from the beginning. And I want to stay that way as well, because it's great to see other people doing stuff too. I can't wait to hear Dwayne and Bernard and whoever else does it. Like I said, I'll still be around. But we have evolved. My league that you see on screen, the 1982 league, with the DH on, and I'm glad we've adopted the DH. That was quite funny. No Ghost Runner, though. But mine has Ghost Runners and DH, as we all famously know. But my league is set up a certain way because I learned when you're broadcasting, you have to set things up. There's a lot of things I learned, such, for example, tools, how to use the tools properly, most specifically, the rules. So my 1982 is kind of set up the way I was using it in Howie Shanks 2. So the DH rules were on. I had Interleague on. I don't know if that's the same this year. I'm not even sure. I suppose we're playing in two divisions. I don't know if they're randomly chosen. I hope they are. Or we're in one big division, which we were in Howie Shanks 1, I think. But also in the Ned McGreevy. So I'm not sure if that's done yet. Also, if it's a bigger league, which this one is, for example, notice I don't have mine on. It's this draft league pitcher boost. Now, this isn't a draft league. Improved left-hand performance in smaller leagues. I suggest we have that in the Shanks 3. Steve is excellent at this, but even I had a little input into remembering about the left hand. I think Wordsworth's game reminded everybody yesterday. So we've learnt so much. I have a feeling that ejections, stuff I have off, would cause a bug. I'm sure I had it in my first iteration of the 1982 replay league. But it's pretty good. Where I really have learnt is the AI. It's not as bad as sometimes it appears. I think Steve has this set up as well, and Beatles, which is the reduce hits the penalties that come into play at times. Where is the penalties? I'm pretty sure I have the same settings that we had before. I can't see the penalties, but they're there somewhere with the penalties. And there's a certain amount you're allowed. I think Steve said 50%. And then a penalty kicks in. Usage rules, there it is. So if you go, in my league, if you go over 100% of the rules, of the stats, you'll reduce your hits and walks by 50%. But in our league, the Shanks League, I think it's set at is it 130 or 150? I'm not sure. So, for example, I had a guy, Warren Hecker, I think his name was, who is an absolute ace. And everyone kind of cottoned on to the fact that I was winning. So they slapped a penalty. And rightfully so. So he was reduced. But that's important to get right when setting up this type of leagues. Again, I was preaching to the converted. But for the league, I think this is what we used. Because I've just kind of used the same setup. Now, where it gets interesting, and certainly in my 1982 replay, which I'll put the focus back on, is how the AI is going to manage. In my case, rosters. Oops. Gosh, now that I'm speaking about it, I can't remember what the damn thing I did. There's lots of things to remember, for example. Beatles touched on it yesterday, so I won't necessarily go into all of them. But the way to manage is interesting. So, for example, if I took on, let's see, Earl Weaver would have been in Baltimore, and Baltimore is over here somewhere. I kind of know how he managed. I could go to manager, and you see it says allow GM. If I took that off, then I could put my manager profile in. I think we all play action, so we're all pretty clear on that one. But if not, I know Beatles and Steve have done many, streams explaining that, and I'm sure they'll do it again. I know exactly what I want to do with my lineup. And once I've done my management lineup, I can export it there into the Discord. What they haven't decided yet, I don't think, is, bear in mind it's not going to be a play out every game league. It's mostly Sims with things streamed here and there, I guess, is if you're doing your lineups, how often. I think the best way to do that would be to send in your lineups as you need them. They will pick it up in the Discord and import them into their master file. We were doing BBXs at first, and that didn't work. So definitely export your manager, and also to the admin team, or Beatles and Clue and Steve, or in the Discord. And also, I would say, well, I don't have to say this part because I'm not actually hosting a game, but there will be a master file that is shared, and definitely export the main file. But apart from that, that's just how it's going to work. It's fun. It was so much fun. Like I said, I'd like to do it again, but I just don't have the stamina to stay up late at night all the time. It did take it out of me last year, if I'm being honest. But I had so much fun, and actually, the reason why I'm still doing this stuff is because of the fun I had with Shanks. Do you know what I mean? I do hold the crown, by the way, for the Nedberg Review 1, alright? And I've been very competitive. That's why I get so much abuse. It's psychological warfare. Yeah, very competitive over the last couple of seasons. Mostly trying to take down Steve Tate, to be honest. And it's been a lot of fun. So if you hear them going at MV, it is not a nasty thing. It's just an in thing. Because we've all been doing this for quite a while together. So just want to make sure, just in case everything thinks I'm being treated harshly, it's all part of the banter. Right, let me just go into my stream. Because I was doing this blind. Not blind. I was doing it. 1 second. Good stuff. I'm in. Yeah. So yeah, that's it really. So I'm going to take a look. Actually, I was thinking to myself, I can't wait for Steve. God bless him. He's always under pressure from me. Yeah, Joe, I'm a heretic. I am a heretic. But yeah. So oh gosh, I'm revealing everything on screen now. Duh. Yeah, I wanted to take a look at my history file, see if I've got something lurking there where I can look at my players. I know Clue has put them in the Discord, so I can look at them anyway. I think I have a pretty decent team, to be fair. I think so. That's just me, but I'm a man of self-promotion, so, that's not going to stop. That's probably why I annoy everyone from time to time. But it's all part of the fun. So, let's go back to 1982. Here we are now. I did one game from this particular day, which is April the 26th. I'll speed it up today. And let's see what we got, because I really do want to look at my team. So while I look at this and play this out, I'll be talking about my team. Okay, for the Shanks 3. I played Minnesota and Yankees already. Let's have a look at who's pitching today. Pulio versus Petrie. No, we're not going to do that one. And New York get a much needed win and take down Detroit. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, could do that one. Martz, that's Dwayne, any relation, Dwayne? Tudor, Gale Clancy, Necro Palmer. That looks like a really good game. Gidry just lost. Montefusco versus Vida Blue. Soto and Trout. Steve Trout versus Mario Soto. Bob Walk, Charlie Huff. These are evenly matched teams. Welsh and Caldwell. Gullickson, who has been 4-0, versus, I think that's Jeff Sand. Joaquin Andujar, 5-1, going against Floyd Bannister. A good one. Mike Krukow against Matt Kiao. Or Kukau. I don't know how to say his name. So, we will begin with... Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Necro Palmer. Let's do that one, shall we? Yeah. Let's change these to days. Yeah, it has been. Let's get some day games back in there. I think it does affect the conditions, quite obviously. I don't know how to set that because I did my own schedule and I didn't know it would set everything tonight, so I just go back in and untick it. As you know, you learn the game. This game is like a TARDIS. You go into it, it's so huge inside. Right, so we are going to do... Actually, we're going to do this one first. Montreal Expos are at the California, so we're now seeing Interleague in 1982. DH on. I really do need a day photo. So, park image. I haven't set all of my images up, but they are here. That's better. So Anaheim. I'm hoping that will be the... We're at Anaheim. Forgive me, that's better. Where do I? Okay, got it. And it reminds, note to self is to go back in and assign these ballparks. They are assigned for the most part, but there's a couple like this one that have only got days assigned. There we are. Okie dokie, let's do this. So, California Angels are a big slugging team with lots of veterans. There's Reggie Jackson, who I think that's his last great season, or last very good season. Grits, Baylor, it's so many legends around that time. Rod Carew. What was interesting about the draft last night is people like Mickey Mantle weren't drafted. Christy Mathewson, I could have drafted Christy Mathewson. I had the Giants, but I had a chance of Iron Joe McGinnity versus Christy Mathewson in 1904. And McGinnity's season is just far superior. So a lot of it was down to, do you get your year as well? But then if you didn't get your year, what were you going to do about it? And you have to compromise. Like I ended up with 4 first basemen in the end, just to make sure there was power. In fact, I did that really early on, knowing I may not get Willie Mays. But would I have enough power? You know, I've got Steve Garvey in there. I've got, well, Garvey comes to mind. I've got Johnny Mize. So the DH is going to work for me. It will work for everybody, to be honest. So here we go. We're all set, I think. Enough of me rambling. Hello everybody, this is MV, broadcast from Anaheim Stadium for tonight's game, or today's game, between Montreal Expos and California. A game you would not have seen in 1982. I have Interleague on, DH on, and Ghost Runner. Controversially. I like being controversial. It's Jeff Zahn today versus Bill Gullickson. Gullickson is 4-0. Zahn is 1-3. So what I'm going to do just very quickly is sort out my park. So do that, reset labels, and it automatically puts them roughly in the position they should be. Little adjustments. Bring my right hand hitter here. I thought when I was first saw this game years ago that not having crowds in there would take away my immersion. It doesn't. I wanted something like Strat PC where you could see the pitcher move, and my imagination is taking over. And that has surprised me because I'm an out of the park guy originally, but I've definitely become an action guy thanks to the likes of Beatles Eternally, Steve, and everybody re-educating me on my baseball knowledge. I had some. I'm not a complete novice, but at the same time, I was very like 19th century dead ball. These are not my areas of expertise, but yet when I was drafting it and I got 1898, I wasn't worried because I know enough now about whip. I know enough now about the players. I ended up with about 4 or 5, maybe 7 dead ball stroke 19th century players yesterday, and I wasn't unhappy with them, to be honest, because there's ways in which you can use them, to your liking. That's why I like all the different channels. We're all broadcasting different eras. Like RGL Network on Inside Pitch famously does what it suits him, really. But I know he's done a 1980s one recently, and I have thoroughly enjoyed that one. Everyone's got their own style. I have my British accent. Sometimes you hear a little American twang. I might do a West Virginia to y'all, but I'm working on that one. Don't insult anyone from West Virginia. Not that anyone in the community is holding back from calling me from West Virginia, by the way. I'll just throw that in there. And then they'll say, well, it's an insult associating with West Virginia. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. I actually looked up West Virginia, actually. Now I know sweet tea is a big thing in West Virginia. And I now know that West Virginia, I think, sits below the Mason-Dixon line, I think it is. Or is considered to be the South, but it's actually up north. Whereas, is it Maryland? It sits south, but actually is considered the north. Something like that. And, is it Harper's Ferry? Starting to learn a bit more. In fact, it's got me interested in West Virginia, funny enough. I know about the F-ball teams, the college teams. I think it was Michael Vick played for one of those teams. And there are two. It's West Virginia and a Virginia. There's a Virginia and a West Virginia university football team. Or college team, which I definitely know about. And have known for a long time. So that's going to be... It's been fun just learning about that. And even the accent, would you believe, I was practicing it yesterday just to see what it sounds like. I'm a little linguistic. Right. Here we go. Boy, with that stuff. We're ready. So leading off for Montreal will be Tim Raines. Let's have a look at the lineup for California. You can see it there on screen. There are 2 Jacksons playing today. So Jeff Zahn on the mound for California. His first start against Montreal. 71 degrees here. And Anaheim. The left fielder Rain steps in. Infield in. And Jeff Zahn opens up with a walk. And Tim Raines is on base. A 95% chance. Hey, Clee. Yeah, good to see you yesterday, man. That was an awesome event yesterday. Yes, so I'm learning about West Virginia. Clee baseball fan comes in. Thanks for coming in. See if Raines will steal here. Zahn looks in, gets a sign from Corbett. I don't know who Corbett is. Corbett is a gentleman called Doug Corbett. No, that can't be right. Now, how could Doug Corbett be the pitcher? This is interesting already. Zahn is the pitcher. Right, got it. But yet they've got somebody called Corbett playing catcher. He's a pitcher. That is odd. I will investigate in a minute. Look at their bench. They must be carrying a lot of injuries. Why is Boo not playing or Ferguson? I will address that shortly. I've never seen that error before. There's Zahn. Corbett behind the plate. Man on first. First pitch. There goes Raines. And it goes into the outfield. And Raines will get a triple. He will steal 2 bases. So the throw from Corbett, and that is not good. I have to remove him. There's no point having him in there. Because already, I thought, let's just leave him for 1 pitch. What damage could it do? And there it is straight away. Oh, Lord. Why did it pick him, though? Okay, how do I get out of that jam? Human. Yeah. Okay. Take out this guy, Corbett. Why was he selected? So Corbett immediately needs to come out. Do you know what? It's unfair. Ladies and gents, we will restart the game. So Clee says here, Virginia Tech is Virginia, not West Virginia. Okay, Marshall, the Thundering Herd. Yep, I do remember them. That's the team with the American, the NFL legend. At least 2 come from there. There's a quarterback that's quite famous, I think, and definitely a wide receiver. His name escapes the Vikings wide receiver. That's how rusty I am with American football. I can't even remember. Randy Moss, that's it. And I know they're infamous for sadly, the plane crash. The Marshall team, that is. So Virginia Tech is Virginia, not West Virginia, right? Gotcha. Virginia Tech is in Virginia, right? Gotcha. Not West Virginia. Marshall University, subject to the We Are Marshall, and West Virginia are in West Virginia, right? Got it. Yeah, he's, the guy's always banter with me because I knew a little bit about American sports. So I'm not really British, but I had the luxury, Clee, of living abroad and having satellite. So I was able as a kid to use my dad's satellite and tune in, so that was all good. Let's try this again. What happened there with the Expos, I'm not sure. So with the lineup, let's do this again. Computer lineup. Corbett is in a catcher. Why? That is odd. Oh, I see. Let's have a look. Why not Joe Ferguson or Bob Boone? I've never seen that before. So is that a bug? Corbett, and yet there's no issue with Joe Ferguson or Bob Boone. Right. Executive decision. Note to self to check lineups just before. Don't take it for granted the computer's going to choose the right one. Because that one definitely didn't. Catcher, Gary Carter. Let's do that again. So Byron Leftwich, I remember him. Yes, I do remember Byron Leftwich. Very good, talented quarterback. Very good coach, if I remember correctly. Was he left-handed? Played for the Jaguars, I want to say, Clee, as I recall. Chad Pennington, yep, that's it. That's the other one. So, and Marshall had a really good team, and then obviously they had that plane crash. And I was quite, I saw the film years ago. So here we go. Jeff Zahn, let's start it again. Raines at the plate. Just had to restart that game. This is the Angels. I like the uniforms. Gives me a bit of more immersion, like I do it out of the park. So we're rolling again as the computer messed up there for some strange reason. 78 degrees, wind speed 8 miles per hour at Anaheim. Left fielder Raines steps in. Here's the 1-0. Gretsch to his left, fields it. Over the first, got his man. That's better. So Jeff Zahn, I don't know much about Jeff Zahn, Clee. Yes, is he still around, Byron Leftwich, Clee? I'll be interested to see. Here's a man I remember from when I was a child, a young boy, Chris Spire. He's batting 280, 1 home run and 4 RBIs on the season. Very young season. Jeff Zahn looks in. 1 ball, 2 strikes on spare. And he took strike 3, not what he was looking for. So 2 out here for the Expos. This is 1982. These teams would never have met. This is why I'm enjoying this project, because I've combined the two. It's caused a lot of controversy. I've become very notorious overnight. I think being a Brit, I do understand the culture of baseball to some extent, but I'm not living it. It would be like what soccer, if someone changed the rules in soccer, would I be vehemently opposed to the rules? Probably. So here's Al Oliver in. 1-1. Weak fly ball down to left field. Downing comes to it. And he's under it to make the catch to retire the sign. 1, 2, 3. The Expos go down. Look at those lovely powder blue uniforms. Rod Carew now will lead off, the legendary Rod Carew, Hall of Famer, on the mound. A man who is 4-0 on the season, Bill Gullickson. Let's take a look around the horn. Gary Carter is behind the plate, the legendary Gary Carter. First base, Al Oliver, veteran Al Oliver. At second base, Mike Phillips. At short, Chris Spire, a relatively decent shortstop. Third base, Tim Wallach, player I loved seeing in the mid-80s. In left field, Hall of Famer Tim Raines. I think this was Raines' rookie season. Yeah, I need to get back into football, actually. I do like it. I've always enjoyed it. You know, my team, Cleve, back in the day was the Chicago... being a Brit, I came back to the UK in 85, and they used to have a channel, a very legendary program in the UK. I forgot what it's called now, funny enough. But it was on Channel 4 over here. They broadcast a lot of American programs back then. That's why NFL is so huge in the UK. It started there, and the people that are fathers and grandfathers now watched it huge. It was massive. You know, Marino, Montana, and Lawrence Taylor, and that era of American football for me was exactly like it was for baseball. It's my era. The era that I fell in love with baseball for sure, but also American football too. In fact, it might be another heresy here, but I actually like 2 teams. I can't divide the two. In the UK, if someone said they like Liverpool and say Manchester United, people would laugh at them because you just can't do that. It's so tribal over here. I don't know how tribal it is in the US. I suspect it is. But I have always liked the 1985 Bears, and as a result, followed the Bears ever since. But also, I like the Raiders of that time as well. So I always keep an eye on the Raiders, particularly the Raiders for some reason. But I also like the Bears. They have their own DNA. The Bears play the rushing game, tough defense. Raiders have traditionally been an air game. Although their running back, please remind me his name. Oh my God, he is awesome. And he's been a very underrated running back for the Raiders. His name escapes me. He's playing right now. He's awesome. What's his name? See, I'm so rusty on American football at the moment. But I do watch it when it comes on TV over here. I do watch it. But they have a running back whose name, oh my God. But he is sensational. And I think the Raiders last year should have done just a little... Walter Payton, I do know Chicago Bears. Definitely know him. He's legendary. I fell in love with all of that 80. I can name the entire roster of 85 Bears. You know, off the top of my head, really. It's particularly the offensive line, which I don't know. Josh Jacobs, that's the guy. He is awesome. What a runner. What a running back. I just think he's superb. You know? The quarterback situation with the Raiders, if I remember, they finally looked like they got rid of their quarterback last season, Carr, and brought somebody. But again, I've not been following it the way I used to. Last couple of seasons, I've just been aware of who the players are, but I've stopped watching the draft, probably because I got back into baseball. But maybe it's my time to go back into it. Whilst I get into baseball, I'm a big basketball fan. Anything American sports, I'm on it. Track and field, everything. So here's Bill Gullove. Obviously, you know, the sports got such rich histories. So we're back on the plate now with Rod Carew. Nobody out, bottom of the first. Carew waiting patiently for me to stop talking. And there's a ground ball to right field, and Rod Carew, professional hitter, on base. Here's Ron Jackson. Don't think I've got a picture for Ron Jackson. At the plate. Ron Jackson's 29 years old. A good sacrifice bunter. You see if he can move Carew across. Fred Lynn on deck. Runner on first. Here's the 3-0. Low and inside from Gullickson. And 2 men on now for the Angels. Here's Fred Lynn at 208. Fred Lynn now 30 years old. Is a Steve Tate card. So he was in Howie Shanks at some point. He's ready. Left hand hitting Fred Lynn. Lots of power. Hit 21 home runs in 1982. Gullickson looks in, gets the sign. Runs on first and second. Here's the 0-1. Infield fly rule applies. Spear goes back and calls everyone off, and he's under it. 1 away. Brings up Reggie Jackson. Reggie had a great season, probably his last great season. He had 39 home runs in 1982. Gullickson looks in again. 2 men on this time. Reggie after a slow start to the season. Downing is waiting to hit. Payoff pitch to Reggie on the 2-3-2. Hit deep to center field, but the Expos' young outfielder Andre Dawson tracks that down. Look at that outfield for Montreal. Tim Raines in left and Andre Dawson in center. Two Hall of Famers. In fact, Gary Carter's a Hall of Famer behind the plate. I don't know about Al Oliver. So Clee says, back to Jeff Zahn. Yeah, I'd like to hear about Zahn. He would have been 36 or 37 in 1982. Kind of a journeyman, but did pitch for parts of 12 seasons. So I'll give him respectfully. Yeah, I've heard the name Zahn. Never knew much about him. This is why I love playing the game. I think RGL Network said it last night. You may know a lot about the players. Like I know who Warren Cromitry was, or is. I know who Al Oliver was in terms of name recognition. But the ins and outs, I don't know. I know Tim Wallach from remembering him, from watching him. Zahn was a guy that played in the American League, and my feeds I picked up were more National League. But I did know that he was a decent, player. Here's Al Downing at the plate. 2 out now for the Angels. As Clee schools me on a few things. Thank you, Clee. Bit early for you over there, I think. Normally I don't get a crowd in until, say, 4 o'clock my time. So now a walk here from Gullickson. This is not the Gullickson we've seen this so far this season. 2 men on, Downing at the plate, 2 out. Score, 0-0. Here's the 1-0 from Gullickson. Fastball, line straight to Phillips, and that is that. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Montreal, nothing. California, nothing. Jeff Zahn, according to Clee Baseball Fans, give me a little bit of an update on him. He would have been 36 or 37 in 1982. Let's check that out. Yeah, 36, and bang on the money is Clee Baseball Fan. Left-hand hitter, fly ball pitcher. On the season so far, Jeff Zahn is 1-3. However, in 1982, he was 18-8 with a 3.73 ERA and a 1.265 WHIP. Here's Gary Carter now to lead off the top of the second. This is a National League versus American League game. Interleague. Curveball from Zahn. Hit down to third. Jackson up with it across the diamond. Got him. 1 away. This is why I like the project myself personally. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it, would I? Here's Tim Wallach. Tim Wallach was a solid player from my memory. Here's the 1-2 from Zahn. Popped up behind second, and Bobby Gritch, who should be in the Hall of Fame, takes it down. 2 away. Here's Andre Dawson, the Hawk, now stepping to the plate. Andre Dawson in this season is 27 years old with a 9 durability and a fly ball spray hitter. On the season, he's only hit 2 home runs so far. Must be those American League pitchers. Here's the pitch. Line straight at Tim Foley, and that is that. Montreal nothing, California nothing, as we go to the bottom of the second. So, thank you, Clee. I'm enjoying this. Thank you, Clee, for giving me the heads up on these players. Al Oliver was an ex-Pirate. 1982 would have been his first of 2 years with the Expos. 1982, and Oliver won the National League batting title. Right, interesting. With 331 average, 204 hits with 43 doubles. Thank you. So, it's due a good season. There it is, 331, 22 home runs, 109 RBIs. Thank you very much, Clee. Here's Bobby Grich with a home run and 11 runs batted in. He's hit safely in 7 straight games. Here's the pitch from Gullickson. Dribble down to third. Wallach up with it. And Bobby Grich with an infield hit. So Wallach charged it, threw it, not in time. So here comes the more power. Well, look at that power in the Angels. Lynn, Jackson, Dowling, Grich, Baylor. That's a big lineup. Here's Don Baylor now. I was quite surprised they're only 9-12. Gullickson looks in. Baylor batting .279 with 3 home runs. It's only April. The payoff pitch. Straight back at Gullickson. He picks it up, throws it to first. Got him. And it looks as if they caught Grich napping. So 2 down in 1 play. Let's look at that again. There's Baylor straight up. Grich took off, had to turn back, and they picked him off as well. 2 in 1. There's Tim Foley. I know Tim Foley was an ex-Pirate. Played on the We Are Family team, I think. Gullickson helped out that last pitch. Here's the 2-2. Lined over Oliver's head into right field, and Tim Foley is on base. This Angels team has got a lot of offense in it. There's Bob Boone, second generation Boone at the plate. Here's the 1-2, grounded up the middle for a base hit. So the Angels and Foley will take advantage of that slow return from Dawson, and he's at third. Runners at the corners. The dangerous Rod Carew steps in. Gullickson not looking his usual self so far. He's been dominant on the season so far. He looks in. Rod Carew waits. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball. Grounded into left field for a base hit, and Foley will score. Poor play on the pickup from Raines, and Boone will go to third and Carew to second. Right, so now the Angels threatening again. But they have 2 outs as Ron Jackson comes to the plate. Lynn on deck if he gets on. Here's the 3-2 from Gullickson. Struck him out! First punch out of the day for Bill Gullickson to retire the side after 2 complete. California 1, Montreal nothing. At the plate, top of the third, Warren Cromartie. Warren Cromartie was a decent player for Montreal in these years. Zahn looks in, deep fly ball to right center field. Fred Lynn lopes in to take the ball, and he's under it. And he puts it away for the out. 1 away. Here's John Milner. Let's have a look at John Milner. Ooh, John Milner at the plate. John Milner doesn't look like he did much. He's like a reserve player. John Milner today batting DH. So this is where the DH has its issue in the National League. They're not ready. Zahn looks in. Here's the 0-1 up the middle. And that's 1 out. 2 out. Let's have a look at the bench, though. Could they have not sent someone better up there in that position today? Of course they could have. Not many, though. This guy here is probably... and don't forget, the GM is actually GMing the team automatically. So there are players not on the roster that could have been maneuvered into the DH. This is with the guy I would have used. Here's Mike Phillips. Mike Phillips' first appearance of the season. Up the middle to Foley. Foley up with it. Over the first. Got him. So, that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. As I keep warming up my voice, it was a long night last night. California 1, Montreal nothing. Bottom of the third. California up to plate again. More power. Here's Fred Lynn batting from the left-hand side. He's off to a slow start. Here's the 1-1. This is going deep to left center field. Dawson jumps for it at the wall to put it away. What a great play by Andre Dawson. He has a 10 range. I'm not that surprised. Let's look at that again. Lynn drove it to left field. Dawson went right back to the fence and jumped and got it. One away. Great play by Andre Dawson in center field. Here's Reggie Jackson at the plate. Reggie 0 for 1 today. Here's the 2-1 from Gullickson. Hot shot up the middle. Spire up with it. And over the first to get Jackson. 2 away. Bobby Grich, another future Hall of Famer, hopefully, at the plate. No, he's on deck. It's Downing at the plate. Apologies. Gullickson, the 0-2. Hit that one is gone. Now Brian Downing has hit this to right field. Cromartie went back to look for it, and that one was gone. That one get out of it in a hurry. So Gullickson gives up his first home run of the ball game as Downing takes out of this team, this California team. They got some power. Let's look at that again. Bang! That one flew out of here to right field. Or right center field. So, the Angels go up 2-0. Here's Bobby Grich, 1 for 1 so far in the ballgame. Here's the payoff pitch. Tapper to third. Wallach up with it. Can he get his man? They get him in the nick of time. Great play by Wallach, but damage is done. 1 run scores on 1 hit. No errors after 3 innings. California Angels 2. The Expos nothing. This is a Interleague DH Ghost Runner on 1982 so-called replay. Here's Tim Raines 0 for 1 to lead off the 4th. Grounder straight back to Zahn. Zahn up with it. Fires to first to retire Raines. Jeff Zahn, a veteran for the Angels. It seemed like they had a lot of veterans on their team. I think Downing. Where did Downing? How old is Downing? Downing is 31 in left field. In center field is Fred Lynn. He's now 30. In right field, Reggie Jackson. Definitely coming into the autumn of his career. He's 36, missed October. Tim Foley is recognizable from a shortstop, as a 31-year-old shortstop. Bobby Grich would have been an ex-Oriole. He's 33. At first is Rod Carew. He might as well be Methuselah. He's 36. Does it sound weird, you know? They're 30s. In their 30s, I'm calling them old. Veteran ball club. And Bob Boone himself is 34. Veteran ball club here. Whereas the Expos are very young. Here's Chris Spire at the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. Zahn kicks and fires, and it's a strikeout. Second punch out for Jeff Zahn. Another one of these veteran players on the Angels. Stepping up is the batting champion of 1982, according to Clee. And I'm relying on Clee here. Al Oliver, in 1982, he batted .331 with 22 home runs. Today's ball game is 0 for 1. On the season, he's batting .265. It's only April. Here's the 2-1 from Zahn. And a grounder straight to Foley. Foley moves to his right, fields it, fires to first. Got him. And that is that. Zahn is perfect. I should have said it. Why did I say that? Just look at Zahn's box score. That's all I'm going to say. Oh my God, I nearly ruined it then. Here's Baylor, his 0 for 1. Well, yeah, I think he is a catcher as well. I think Brian Downing. Let's have a look. I keep thinking Aldo. I think Brian Downing was a catcher. I'm sure I've seen him on Legends broadcast as a catcher, and maybe that season he didn't, but I'm sure he is. I could be wrong, but I was the same opinion. I always thought he was a catcher. So we're back out now for the bottom of the 4th as Don Baylor steps up. Don Baylor, famous for being hit. Here's the 1-0 from Gullickson. Smashed up the middle, spared to his left. Backhands it, swivels, throws the first, got his man. 1 away. Nice play by Chris Spire. Just always looked unathletic. Keep saying that. It's true. Here's Tim Foley 1 for 1. He steps in now. Gullickson looking a bit more confident on the mound. Here's the 0-1 from Gullickson. Fastball. Slow dribble to Spire, who rushes in. Over the first. Got his man. 2 away. Let's play again by Spire. Because Spire is 32. He was definitely playing in the mid-80s when I watched him. Because he must have been 36. There's Bob Boone. Ready again. 2 out here for the Angels. They lose 2-0. Gullickson gets the sign. There's the 1-2 straight at Gullickson, who throws to first for out number 3. Nothing across in the bottom of the 4th inning. After 4 complete, the Angels 2, Montreal Expos nothing. This matchup of Interleague, Expos and Angels. Controversial. I've inserted this as the rules. Here's Gary Carter, 0 for 1. One of my favourite Mets of the mid-80s, mid to late 80s. He's ready. Zahn looks in. Here's the 2-2. And that could be extra bases as Carter drills that into left field. Dowling chases after it. And a double for Gary the Kid Carter. There he is, grinning at second base. Here's Tim Wallach, 0 for 1. Those Expos were good in the 80s. Here's the 0-1 from Zahn. That's hit foul by Wallach. We were talking about the Expos yesterday, and someone was saying that Rusty Staub had not been drafted in the league last night. And RGL was saying Rusty Staub, Le Grand Orange, should be in the Hall of Fame. Now, I do like Rusty Staub. Should Rusty Staub be in the Hall of Fame? Hey, Joe, how you doing? So Joe says here, good to hear you, good to see you, Joe. Good that you're here. I hope you can hear me well enough. Let me know. Brian Dowling, I don't know why I always thinking of him as a catcher. Well, yeah, that's what I always thought. But he's playing left field today, that's for sure. And in 1982, he's designated as a left fielder. No catching stats. Spire was always a good shortstop. Started with the Giants back in the early 70s. I had no idea about that. So, yeah, we always learn, Joe. So, a nice hit for Gary Carter's left field. Here's Walt now, back at the plate. He fouled off the pitch. Zahn has got an 0-2 count on him. Here's the 0-2 from Zahn. Wallach pops it up behind first. Carew running to the stands. And it's in foul territory. No! He reached it and put it away. Nice play by Rod Carew. 36-year-old Rod Carew getting those legs to work. One away. Here's Andre the Hawk Dawson now stepping in. That big frame steps into the box. He's ready. Zahn looks in. Here's the 2-0 to Dawson. Runner on second. This one's hit deep to center field. However, Fred Lynn heads back under it and he puts it away for the out. 2 away. When Andre Dawson comes up, you have to get to the edge of your seat. Here's another decent player, the left-hand hitting Warren Cromartie. Say his name properly. Warren Cromartie. With my half-English, West Virginian, Kingstonian, London accent. Zahn looks in. Cromartie is settled. He's ready. Boone puts the target down. Here's the 0-2. Cromartie laces it into left center field. Carter will come home. Lynn and Downing converge on the ball, and Cromartie will get an extra base. A double for Cromartie driving home Gary Carter. So the Expos get back 1 run. They now trail 2-1. 2 out though. Here in the top of the 5th inning, as John Milner comes to the plate. Milner has no stats either. In real life, or in my game, replay, let's have a look. In 1982, he batted 107. In the replay, this is his first at bat. John Milner. Any news on John Milner? I think. So Joe Murdy says, yeah, I can definitely why catchers go in the outfield or someone else. Being a catcher takes a lot out of your body. Not to mention conclusions, so yeah, fair enough. Yeah, thanks, Joe, as well. You can hear me perfectly. Perfect. Here we go. Zahn looks in. Milner is ready. Cromartie on second. Here's a 2-1 to Milner. He lifts this high in the center field, but Lynn will be under it and catches it to retire the side. 1 run scores on 2 hits, no errors after 4.5 innings. California 2, Montreal 1. I'm trying to do this in my British accent. I keep slipping. So leading off the bottom of the 5th, with a 2-1 lead for the Angels is Rod Carew. Saw Carew make a nice play in the field previous half inning. Gullickson has pitched so far, let's see now, 4 innings and given up 6 hits. He's 4-0 on the season. 2 for 2 in the ballgame for Carew. Gullickson is set. Here's the 1-2. And another base hit for Rod Carew to right field this time. Now, did Rod Carew get drafted last night in the Howie Shanks 3? I'm not sure. I've got a feeling that sneaky Steve Tate has got him. Damn him. Damn you, Steve. Here is Gullickson and Carew first as Ron Jackson comes to the plate. Ron Jackson has no stats on the season. In real life, though, however, he did bat .331 from 142 at bats, so he did play. At the moment, this is his first game of the season. Gullickson throws over the first to pick off Carew. One away. So Rod Carew was busy listening to me talking about Ron Jackson, lost his concentration, and Gullickson fired over to Oliver. Oliver put the tag on. So Rod Carew's out of there, 1 out. As Ron Jackson settles back in. Gullickson with a slight smirk on his face. Carter puts the sign down. Gullickson is set. Here's the 1-1. Curveball. And that's hit to left field by Ron Jackson for a base hit and his first hit of the season. Stepping into the box now, Fred Lynn. Lynn is 0 for 2 today. Flied out deep to center field in the third. Runner on first. Here's the 1-2 from Gullickson. This is hit deep to center field. He could go. He might go. It hits the wall. And a double for Fred Lynn. Ron Jackson flew around third, took a look at home, but he'll stay at third. So a big shot by Fred Lynn. However, Dawson tracked it down in time, not to catch it, but to field it and slow Ron Jackson down. So the Angels looking threatening here. They lead 2-1. Bottom of the fifth, 1 out, as everyone gets ready as Reggie Jackson steps into the box. Reggie hit 39 home runs in 1982. Carter has finished talking to Gullickson. He'll sit behind the plate. Gullickson kicks and fires on an 0-1 count. Fastball. And that's lined foul by Reggie. Gullickson up to 90 pitches now. Tight ball game. I'm hoping for the Ghost Runner. Yesterday I was hoping for the Ghost Runner. Went 5-5. Got to the bottom of the ninth. And I wanted to rub Clue's face in it. And of course, there was a walk-off home run. I was like, no! Great end to the ball game. Anyway, here's the 0-2 from Gullickson. Grounded to right field, base hit. So Jackson scored. Ron Jackson was scoring a hit by Reggie Jackson. Cromartie took too long to get to the ball. And Jackson took home for home. So Brian Downing steps in now. 3-1 Angels. Bill Gullickson in a bit of a struggle. He's got a perfect record so far. He's 4-0. He may lose his 0 in this game. Carter puts a sign as Brian Downing steps in. He hit a solo home run of Gullickson last time up. Here's the 1-2. That's hit to right field, and Cromartie comes forward for the second out. Lynn will tag up, and he will score. 4-1 Angels. This is a powerful Angel lineup. And it's Bobby Grich. Grich batting .282 on the season. Here's a 2-0 from Gullickson. Hit deep to center field again. Dawson will have it in time. There's a nice dive there by Andre Dawson, a bit dramatic. But it retires the side. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors after 5 complete. California 1, Montreal 1. California 4, Montreal 1. Leading off the top of the 6th inning now is Phillips. Mike Phillips for Montreal. Zahn gets a sign. Here's the 1-1. Fastball grounded to right field. Reggie will pick it up, but Phillips is on base. Here's Tim Raines now. This is Tim Raines. I think it's his rookie season, 1982. Tim Raines at the plate. He's the normal leadoff hitter, but Phillips is ahead of him now. Zahn looks in. Kicks and fires on an 0-1. Fastball hit to left field for a base hit by Raines. Who knew Raines would become a Hall of Famer? I definitely didn't, even in the mid-80s. So Phillips on second, Raines on first. Nobody out here for the Expos. The exciting young Montreal Expos. Here's Chris Spire now comes in. Veteran Spire comes in. He's 0 for 2. Zahn looks in, gets a sign from Boone. Here's a 1-2. Spire grounds it to Foley. Foley to his left. Picks up to Gritch. Gritch to Carew. In time double play. So, 2 out here as Al Oliver, the batting champion, comes to the plate. Expos looking for something here. Phillips is on third. Zahn gets a sign. Full count. And he walked him. The ball nearly hit Oliver, but he's on first. Phillips on third. And another dangerous hitter for the Expos comes in. Gary the Kid Carter. He's 1 for 2 today. He's batting .320 on the season. Nice sunny day here in Anaheim. The wind 10 miles per hour to left field. Not a big crowd in today. But Anaheim does have power alleys. Left-handers will get a 17% boost. Righties will get a 16% boost. Zahn looking in. Love the uniforms, the Angels with the red logo across the top, horizontally. The black cap with the front is red, with a big A on the black cap. He looks in. Wallach on deck. Runners at the corners. Here's a 3-1 from Zahn. Curveball. Grounded to Foley, who snaps it up, fires it to Gritch, and that is the end of the inning. No hits, 2 hits. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. After 5.5, California 1, Montreal 1. I keep getting this wrong. California 4, Montreal 1. Still suffer from last night. Stayed until 5 o'clock in the morning doing the draft on Beatles Eternalist channel. So, California now come to the plate at the bottom of the 6th. Don Baylor, the enforcer for this team, steps up. Foley on deck. Here's the 2-1 from Gullickson. Let's fly to center field. Dawson will measure it. He's under it and makes the catch. 1 away. His light hitting. Tim Foley now comes to play. He's a shortstop. Veteran of the Pittsburgh Pirates We Are Family team. Now playing for the Angels. Gullickson looks in. 3-1 pitch wide of the plate, and Gullickson issues a walk, his second walk of the ball game. Gullickson can go deep in the count. Deep is 107 pitches so far. Here's Bob Boone at the plate, the catcher for the Angels, batting .275. Runner on first. Here's the 1-1 from Gullickson. A curveball. Running straight to Oliver. Oliver up with it to Spire at second. He throws it back to first. They get the lead runner, but Oliver cannot receive the ball in time. So Boone is at first. Lead runner was cut down. Now at the plate, the man who's hot today is Rod Carew. He's 3 for 3 today. What damage can Rod do? 2 out here at the bottom of the 6th. Angels lead 4-1. Bill Gullickson hanging in there. Looks like he's going to lose his O today. But you never know. As I suddenly load up the Daily Mail. Apologies for that. Alright, back to the screen again. Carew is ready, swinging his bat gently. Carter puts a sign down. Gullickson likes it. Wheels and deals on a 1-1. And that's hit along the ground to first. Oliver will collect it and take it to the bag. And that is that. We've played 6 complete. The California Angels 4, Montreal 1 in this 1982 Interleague DH Ghost Runner game. Part of my project. We're nearly through April at the moment. Here's Tim Wallach now leading off for the Expos at the 7th inning. The Expos do have the capacity to come back into this ballgame. They have the offense, the speed, and the youth. But do they have the pitching? Here's a 2-0 from Zahn to Wallach. That's hit down to third. Ron Jackson up with it, fires it to first to get the out. 1 away here. Nice crowd in here. Here is Andre Dawson, 0 for 2. Here's a 2-2. That's hit deep to center field. Lynn will go back, and he has it. 2 away. Warren Cromartie steps up. He's batting 111 against lefties. Here's the 1-1. Let's dribble down to third, but foul. Cromartie 1 for 2 has had a slow start to the season. Zahn, the veteran, still hanging in there with 93 pitches. Here's the 1-2. Actually, it's a 3-2. And Zahn issues a walk, so Cromartie will go to first. Here's John Milner at the plate. Boone will now talk to Zahn. The bullpen is up for the Angels. Top of the 7th. 2 out. Here's a 3-2 from Zahn. That's hit straight to Foley for Milner. And that is the end of the inning. As we go to the bottom of the 7th. So we're back with the ball game. Bottom of the 7th inning now. The Angels lead 4-1. Bill Gullickson on the mound for the Montreal Expos. Fred Lynn is on deck. Calder behind the plate. Jackson is ready. This is Ron Jackson, the third baseman. Jackson walked in the first, struck out in the second, and singled and scored in the 5th. Here's the 1-2 from Gullickson. It's a cutter on the inside corner. Struck him out. Only the second strikeout for Gullickson. Not his usual, strikeout man self. Here's Fred Lynn, 1 for 3. Lynn doubled and scored in the 5th. Here's the 3-2. Way outside and high. So that's 3 walks for Gullickson. Here's Reggie Jackson. Here's Reggie Jackson. 1 for 3. Dangerous hitter again as the Angels look to pile in on top of the Expos. Jackson drove in a run and single in the 5th. There's a runner on first. Here's the 3-0 from Gullickson. Fastball at the shoulders. And Jackson will go to first. 2-1 now as Gullickson begins to lose his stuff. It's Brian Downing at the plate. Did Brian Downing play catcher? That's the question. Downing at the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. He did hit a solo home run in the 3rd. Gullickson hanging in there, but the bullpen is up for Montreal. Gullickson is ready now. Rich on deck. Miller first and second. Here's a 2-1. That is hit deep to left field. This could go. This might go. No. Raines is backpedaled enough. And he caught the ball. Lynn will go to third. I thought that one was going. But Raines pulled it in just at the track in left field. Expos are a little bit lucky there. Still 2 out, so I've got another out to go here. Bobby Grich at the plate, 1 for 3. He's hitting .273 with 2 out and runners in scoring position. Here's the 1-1 from Gullickson. Fastball, line straight at Spear. So no hits, no runs, no hits, no errors. We've played 7 complete. California Rangers 4, Montreal Expos 1. Zahn is coming out now for the 8th. Wow. At the plate, Mike Phillips for Montreal. No, they're pinch hitting. Frank Tavares will come in. Zahn with the curveball. And that is hit to left field by Tavares. And he's on base for Montreal. Here's Tim Raines now. Zahn throws over to first. Tavares gets back in there. Here's Raines, 1 for 3. Zahn with the 0-2. Ground to short. Foley fields it, fires the second for one. Tavares goes hard into Grich, so there'll be no throw to first. Hard slide by Tavares there. Grich is dusting himself down. This is how baseball was played. Rough. Always has been. 1 out. Rain's a threat to steal, but not a big threat. He's only got 42% on his card. Here's Spire now, 0 for 3 today. Jeff Zahn looking good at the moment. Spire has struck out twice already today. Zahn with the 0-2. This one is hit deep down the left field line. Downing will track it down, and that's the second out. Rains holds up at first. Here's Al Oliver, though, the batting champion, dangerous hitter at the plate. Boone is ready. He puts the target down. Zahn nods, and he'll fire over the first to keep Rains honest. He's safe for the close call. Jeff Zahn, a good veteran on this Angels ball club, is taking it into the 8th. Oliver is ready. Here's the 0-1. And there's a little flare to right field over first base for a base hit. So Rains at second. You know he's going to go for third. He does, as Reggie's arm is only a 3. So Tim Rains at third. That's that speed on the Expos. So Oliver at first, Rains at third. And now we've got Gary Carter. So now the tying run at the plate. Are they going to lift Jeff Zahn? No, Zahn is going to pitch. He's ahead of the count, 1-2. Here's the pitch. And there's a base hit from Carter. He'll drive home Tim Rains. So the Expos pull back another one. It's 4-2 Angels. But the Expos have got 2 men on with Tim Wallach, who's due at the plate. Wallach is 0 for 3. Boone will now go out to talk to Zahn. He's back behind the plate. Here we go. Here's a 2-1 from Zahn to Wallach. And the fastball is hit deep, deep, deep left field. It is gone. A 3-run home run by Tim Wallach. I said he was due. Home run number 7 on the season by Tim Wallach. And now the Expos have gone ahead 5-4. So whatever Boone said to Zahn did not work. And Tim Wallach sends this out there. I'll see it again. Zahn left that over the plate, and that one was a line drive, but it left at such speed, Downing could only blink and watch that one go. 3-run home run by Tim Wallach, and the Expos showing their National League credentials against this West Coast American League franchise. It's 5-4 Expos. Who needs Rusty Stabler Grand Orange? So Andre Dawson, yet another power man up at the plate. He's over where he's due. Zahn's going to stay on the mound. Here's the 1-0 from Zahn with the bases empty. And Dawson pops it up, and Carew will take it. That one went way up in the air. No! I thought it was caught. It's not caught. Carew called for it. Grich called everybody off. And it looked like trouble. It didn't look like it, but it was trouble. And the ball dropped in. I thought they caught it. Actually dropped behind Grich. So, talk about a cheap hit from Andre Dawson. He's now at first base. This brings up Cromarties. More trouble here for the Angels. Take Zahn out of there, man. Zahn staying on the mound. He's behind. Here's the 3-1. Runner on first. High and tight. So Dawson will go to second. Cromartie at first. Surely the Angels have got to lift Jeff Zahn. Staying out there. He's got a pitch count of 1-3-5. So he should be out of there soon. I'll take him out now. Here's Milner for 3. 2 out here. Lefty versus lefty. Here's a 2-0. Line, but straight at Tim Foley, who jumped in the air to pluck that out. So now Montreal, bottom of the 8th, They lead now 5-4, and they are going to bring in their ace out of the bullpen. The Terminator, the one and only bearded Jeff Reardon. So Jeff Reardon now pitching for Montreal. I said, love Jeff Reardon, the Terminator. I think he played for the Twins as well at some point and won the World Series. Anyway, Jeff Reardon on the mound. He's 26 years old, Jeff Reardon. He's 10 in the clutch. Here's Dom Bader for the American League team, 0 for 3. Reardon looks in. Bader doubled, lined out. He's 0 for 3. Lined out, grounded out, and flied out. Here's the 1-2 from Reardon in the middle of the plate, and he is left guessing. So Dom Bader will sit down. Here's Tim Foley now for the Angels. First strikeout for Reardon. He's coming in early. This is the bottom of the 8th. Foley 1 for 2. Foley singled and scored in the second, grounded out to short in the 4th, and walked the last time up. Boone is on deck. Here's the 0-1. Drilled straight to second to Tavares, who moved to his right, fielded it, and over to first. It's 2 away now. Reardon, his job is to kill this game. Here's Bob Boone now, 1 for 3, the catcher for the Angels. First offering to Boone, and there's a smash. He's going to get extra bases into left field. Throw comes in, and Boone is safe. Tim Raines doesn't have a big arm in left field. So the Angels still alive here. In fact, the go-ahead run is at the plate, and the very hot Rod Carew comes in. So Reardon versus Carew here. Carew is 3 for 4. He represents a go-ahead run. Tying run at second with Bob Boone, but he's very slow. Reardon peers in. Runner on second. Here's a 2-2. This is a pop-up behind the plate. He could go foul. Carter's going back. And it's foul. Nice chase there by Gary Carter. Carew steps back out of the box and hits the tip of his boots with the heel of his bat, and he's ready to come back in. Man on second. Here's a 2-2 from Reardon. Reardon throws fastball. Bounce, and Reardon makes an error. It came back to Reardon, and he makes an error, so the Angels still alive here in the bottom of the 8th. Boone moves to third. Carew at first. And they have the Ron Jackson at the plate. It's Ron Jackson coming in, but he is 1 for 3 today. Erickson's still out there. Gullick's is still out there. Sorry, Reardon's still out there. Runner on first and third. Here's the 1-2. And Beniquez, the pinch hitter. It's the third, but Wallach to his right, picks it up, throws it, and got him. Thing about action, when they do the pinch hitting, it's so quick. You really have to be paying attention. It's one thing, the only tweak I would say. It's clearly a fabulous game. So we're at the top of the 9th inning now. And Frank Tavares is playing for Montreal. And the pitch from Zahn is hit up the middle with a broken bat. Base hit. Jeff Zahn now will be coming out of this ballgame, surely. The Angels have made a little change in the field as well. Mick Kelleher is now playing third. I don't know what the point of that is. He's only a 2. Raines steps back in. He's ready. The rookie. Zahn looks in. Throws to first. Tavares is safe. Tavares does have speed. Raines is ready. Tavares is a second baseman, by the way. And there's a pitch out, but Tavares is not moving. I think Zahn's going to come out of this, surely. He's still there. Zahn with a 1-0, roll to the right side, and Carew will take it at first. But Tavares will move now to second. Now, Zahn is showing 137 pitches. This is bullpen management here by the Angels. They may need the other bullpen for later in another game. Here's Spire. Runner on second. Here's the 1-1. Tip deep to right center field. But Reggie Jackson covers the ground. Tavares will not tag up from second. It's a 2 away. Zahn up to 140 pitches now. And the dangerous Al Oliver, lefty versus lefty, up to the plate. Oliver 1 for 3 today. Singled the last time up. Drew a walk in the 6th, singled in the 9th. Runner on second. Here's the 1-0. This one hit deep to right field. But Jackson is under it, and that is that. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 8.5 innings, Montreal 5, California 4. So Jeff Reardon on the mound now for the Expos, trying to lock this thing down. The Expos on the season are just 11-10. The Angels are 9-12. So the cookie crumbles for the Angels because they're a powerful team. Here's Fred Lynn, 213 hitter. 1 for 3 today, though. Now the scene is set for Lynn. Here's the 1-1 from the Terminators. Here's the windup. Curveball. Grounded down to third. Wallach to his right. Gloves it. Throws to first. Got his man. Lynn is out. 1 away now. 2 away from the win now for the Expos. As Reggie Jackson steps in. Dangerous hitter. That's what you pay to see. These closers trying to lock it down. Downing on deck. Reardon is ready. Here's the 2-2. And Reggie wins that battle with a base hit to right field. Will Jeff Reardon blow the ball game here? Expos clawed it all back in the 8th. Here's Downing, 1 for 3. Infield guarding. Outfield no double. There's a fastball. Hit deep to center field. And Dawson catches up with it. No, he doesn't. It hits the wall. So a double for Downing. Maybe Reggie could have gone for home, but he didn't. So Jackson stays at third. He's at third. Downing at second. Double for Downing. So it's all on Bobby Grich now. There's 1 out. They've still got chances. They trail 5-4. They can win it all with a walk-off. Reardon paces the mound. Tugs his cap of his, the bill of his cap. He's ready to go. Carter puts a sign on. Grich eyes the pitcher. Infield in. Now Carter decides he wants to talk to Reardon. He's done that. Here's Grich now. It's 2-0 to count. Fastball. And Grich rips it, but don't get much of it. Wallach charges the ball and over to first. Nobody advances. But the scene is set for Don Baylor now. 2 out. Bottom of the 9th. Angels trail 5-4. Expos main man, closer, Jeff Reardon on the mound. As Don Baylor steps in, he's 0 for 4. Reardon in the jam here. Here's the 3-1. And this is hit deep to right field. This could be the ball game as Cromartie makes the catch to retire the Simon in the ball game. Expos win. Expos win. With 5-4 to come back on the 8th inning. Expos win. So that's the end of that one. Montreal 5, California 4. Gullickson now goes to 5-0. So Gullickson, who hung in there all ball game, behind, hung in there, got some luck in the 8th inning when his team finally woke up. They won the game 5-4. Zahn goes to 1-4. I thought Zahn played pretty well. But Gullickson goes to 5-0 on the season. Montreal left 15 on base. California left 20 on base. So interesting, Gullickson went 7 in his pitch, 10 hits, gave up just 4 earned runs, had 4 walks with 2 strikeouts. Jeff Reardon in relief to get the save. Pitched 2 innings, he had 3 hits, no earned runs. So there's a Terminator at work. Whereas for California, Jeff Zahn went 9 innings, gave 10 hits, 5 earned runs. So that's your ball game, folks. And what I do is I'll come back later on today to do another one from this particular date. Yeah. So the 82 League at the moment, I'll do standings later on today, but on screen. So Louis are 15-6, leading the East. Houston are 13-8, leading the West. New York, surprisingly, Yankees are 16-6 in the American League East. And in the West, it's the Chicago White Sox who lead. The best record are the Yankees, who actually lost today. So when I finish this particular day, it'll all even itself out. But anyway, it's time for me to have a little lunch here, or late lunch here in the UK. Just want to thank you all for coming in, or for those of you who are going to play this later. So I know a lot of people, because of the time difference, just catch a little bit of me yapping on. But I started this by saying what a wonderful broadcast it was last night on Beatles Channel. See, so really everybody that I've seen, apart from probably Al, funny enough, or Dave or Ron Juckett, in the chat, it was stunning. So, yeah, it's obviously caught the imagination of this little community that we have, and that was good to see. Right, I will leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining. I will be back on later on, as long as I don't clash with someone else. And from me and Cardiff, it's goodbye. Thank you, Joe, for coming in. I've seen you on Beatles Channel quite a lot. Joe, you're always welcome. I know you've been on my channel a few times because you're blue. So, Clee, thank you very much for coming in and support today and giving some extra knowledge. Any knowledge on baseball is always most welcome. And any lurkers that came in or those coming in later, thank you very much. It's from MV, the president of the Manchester Red Bolts. One-time Ned McGreevy winners, by the way. Signing out. Now you see why they give me so much crap. Anyway, take it easy. Bye-bye. Be safe.